Well, here we are. Row number 3 coming up. Row number 1 is the square in the center. Row number 2 is the squares on each side. Row number 3, that is where we are going to finish off this last leg, and then I will show you how to get the next row. And then when you go from 3, you're going to repeat row 3 over and over again till you get to the size of the Afghan that you want. Now, I know I've been talking about how this is for my daughter's cat, and I thought it only fair that you got to see the special kitty cat that's going to be receiving this little blanket Afghan. He's been with us for over 16 years now. This is Mr. Oliver. He's a sweetheart. He's been having some health issues of late, and trying to keep him around long enough for me to give him this. So, I'm on the row 6 of the last of the 4 squares on either side. And if you remember, you take your hook and you put it under that bar or vertical yarn piece there 6 times till you have 6 loops on your hook. And 1, 2, 3, 5, and 1 more. Yeah, I count out loud to myself so I don't forget where I'm at. And connect it to there. You pull up a loop, yarn over, through 2, all the way back. Yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2 stitches, and then again yarn over and through the last 2 stitches. Now you can do one of 2 things at this stage. This is your foundation piece. I call it the little cross of hope, I guess. And you can tie it off and put on a different color. You continue in the same color. I'm going to put on a different color, and because I don't have enough of this color to actually finish a hole all the way around. That's the thing with the fatter yarns, you don't always have, well, you should have enough, but this was just scrap pieces. I also told you I was going to show you the one that I made with a H size hook with 4-ply yarn. That was a gift for my mother-in-law before she used this thing for years and years and years. And this is what the pattern looks like when you're finished. All these lovely squares connected on a small scale size. Because of the bigger hook, the thicker yarn, it makes bigger squares. This is your typical size. They are basically 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch, but still the 12 stitches, just a smaller hook and a regular ply yarn, 4-ply. This particular Afghan is so big it fits almost a king-size bed. I just had all kinds of colors and nothing big, not enough to make something big, but I had enough to make my scrap Afghan for my former mother-in-law, who has now gone home to be with the Lord. 3 years, Mother's Day. That is when she passed away. So this next portion for the big square one is I'm going to tie off this color. And to tie it off, I finished up by going back, ending here. You just yarn it over, pull it up through that last loop, and give yourself about 2 inches and pull it tight. You see how it tightens up right here at the base? It's going to get real tight right there. So then you take a pair of, I did not put scissors, yes I did. You take a pair of scissors, almost forgot I was going to need these. You take a pair of scissors and you cut that loop. Don't panic, you cut the loop. You just put your scissors in the loop and you cut it, just like that. Now, the part that goes back to the skein of yarn, the bulk of your yarn, you pull on that one. and you're left with this. Now it won't come undone, but for technicality, I was taught you always tie a knot in that. And that's just to double check to make sure that it does not somehow unravel itself, either by snuggling up in a blanket every night and kicking with your feet and things like that. But this is for a key cat to lay on, so I don't think that's going to happen. So you just tie it off. Tie a knot. Now, the object now is, here you had one center square, and you put a square on each side. Now the goal is to put a square inside each corner where these two squares meet, and one on the outside. So you're constantly going to have this shape where it has a dip or a valley. You have a hill and a valley. That's the only way I can describe it. So until you get to the finishing part where you will make this a straight edge by making a half square or a triangle. So now I've got my new color. It's a different kind of yarn, but it's still a fat, chunky yarn. And it has a little bit of a gold thread in it, which reminded me of Oliver because he is an orange tabby, and he's kind of a gold color. So to attach the new color, you make a slip knot. Remember how I said in all crochet projects start with a slip knot? Well, sometimes they have a slip knot in the middle. So we're going to do a slip knot. We're going to attach this new color to the main piece. Now you can attach it to any corner of the outside leg. I call those the outside legs. You can attach it to any corner. Attach it to the right corner, left corner, whichever direction you're working from. You take your hook and you're going to put it into the last or the sixth stitch of the end of one of those legs. And you're going to grab a hold of that slip knot. You're going to pull it through. Now you're anchoring it with literally one chain stitch to hold it on there. That's how you secure it. One chain stitch right in a corner. Now you get to do, guess what? 6 chain stitches. That's right, because you need to have 12 to make a square. So here's 6 here. You need the other 6, just like you've done in previous rows. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's your braided look. There's your hook. And what's the hook do next? It goes back into the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull it through. You do that all the way down to the end here. So the only difference is when you get to that corner, how you're going to approach the corner. Now when you get to the corner, if I can get this to go in here, it's a different feeling kind of yarn too. So that's it. And then you go into the next one and make 6 rows. The difference in this is when you get to that 6th row, so this one went back, and you go 3, 4, 5, 6, and when you get to 6, you're going to end up right here at this corner, right here. So you have this corner and you have this corner. So what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 6 on your hook here, and then go to this side. When you get to this side and end up here on this corner, what are you going to do? Just like here, you're going to chain 6. You're going to do that all the way around and then end it off or continue, however you want to do. Like I said, this is something you could just get 6 skeins of the same color and just make the whole thing one color and have it be just as pretty, just as warm as any other one. But it's up to you what you're looking for. If it's easier for you to do all one color and then maybe just finish off the edge a different color, you can do that. It's your Afghan. You can do with it whatever you want. So this is 2, row 2. Yes. This yarn's not as as slippery as the real fuzzy one. And I've got this little metallic kind of thread in there that's wanting to fuss. Instead of tying off or ending off your 6th row on the outside, you're going to end it off on the inside so that you can fill in that corner that's got the valley that I call. This is 3. And make it like this. Yarn over, always yarn over and throw 2. Yarn over, through 2. There's no chain 1 stitches or anything. You see 3 ribs, that's how I know it's 3 rows. I have 3 more to go. There's that one there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I saw them the first time, this Afghan with the little squares that my grandmother had made, I thought to myself, that's a pain. Who wants to make a blanket and have to sew all those tiny squares together? And when I went to my grandmother and asked her about, is it hard putting all those little squares together one at a time? And she said, honey, that's not how it's made. I said, it's not? She's like, no. She said, it's all done with one hook, and it's just one design. You just keep going around and around. I said, oh, now you have to show me how to make that one, Grandma. And she sweetly but hesitantly said, okay, and she taught me how. And then I'd see her doing something else, and I'd say, hey, how do you do that? And she's like, you want to learn how to do this? I go, of course I do. So it's like I was a sponge for learning everything my grandmother knew how to do. That was the funny part. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to my 6th row. Well, I am not going to, in the other one, in the first 2, you go your 6th row. Remember, you yarn over, you loop up, and then you go back. This, you don't do that. This, you single crochet all the way to the corner. How you do that is, I always chain 1. Just makes for a nice crisper corner. You do a chain 1, which is like you're doing a chain stitch. Just chain 1, go in behind that first bar, yarn over, pull it through, and then through 2. Did you catch that? Ready? Needle through, yarn over, pull it through. See there's 2 loops? Now you're going to pull it through those 2 loops. Now you're heading towards the corner, and there will be 6 of these, and these are called single crochet. I'm going to take this out so you can see a little better. But that is a single crochet. Where those 2 loops are attached, those 2 loops, that's a single crochet. And you're going to do 6 of those. When you get to this corner, that's 6, and then you're going to finish it off to be able to chain 6 for your next square. So through the vertical bar, yarn over, pull it through, and then through 2. The only difference between this and what you did in row 2 is that instead of ending up on the inside, where you want to end up, you're ending up on the outside part, the outside corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1 more after this. And like that. That's 6. Now I'm going to grab that corner. I'm just going to stick it in the corner part right underneath the knot that's in there and pull it all the way through that one loop. So now I have a square on the end of this. I call it the cross piece. So I have that one. Now I need to make sure that this is a balanced shape, I need a square in here. In order to do that, this is how you do the ones inside the corners. Just like before, you're going to go under that bar, that vertical bar of yarn, these guys right here. You're going to pull the loop up 6 times. Just like this. Now I have my 6 loops from underneath each bar. Now I'm going to go to the opposite side of the next square in the bottom, and I'm going to show you how to determine these 6 rows. You don't have the little braided V on the ends, not so much. It's kind of difficult, and it's okay if you don't do it exactly, but you want to be able to have your 6th row end here in this corner. 6th row has to end up here. So if you'll notice on the side that shows the bars part, you can see a very distinct row here, row here, row here, because there's an indentation. You see the space in between? Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wow, look. And then 6 ends up being at the edge. So when you are going to make your rows to fill in this corner, you go wherever those spaces are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to make sure that my first row is starting here, because the next one is going to be in the next gap, and then next and next and next. That makes 5. So when I come to 6, I'm going to be able to just secure it right here in the corner, which is what I want. Not here, but in this corner. This is I guess I would say the hardest part of it. It's really not hard, it's just what you make of it. So you're yarning over, you're pulling through 2, just like you did in the previous rows. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and again. And then you're going to go under that vertical piece, pedestal, some people call it a pedestal stitch, and put the needle through there and yarn over and pull a loop through. This is the beginning of round 2, or row 2 of the design. Now I've got my 6 loops. Now I'm going to look for that next spot, which is the valley between these 2 rows right here. These 2 here. See how it looks like a valley? That's where your next row goes. You're evenly spacing them between the design from the previous box or square. Yarn over, through 2. So you're always going in, yarning over, pulling it through so you have an extra loop, and you need to get rid of the extra loop, so that's why you come through 2. And you do this, you repeat the same pattern throughout the whole Afghan, and every time that you come to a leg square, which is those ones that stick out, every time you come to one of these, you're going to end up in the outside corner, and then you're going to chain 6 stitches up. So you have 6 up and then 6 across to be able to make another square. If you have to watch this over again, that's fine. I'm going to do a next video on it. We'll be finishing it off, and I will leave the last square as a refresher of how you go fill in the valley part and do it up on the leg part. And then I'll show you how to do the edging if you want to make it a straight edge, or I prefer it just because of a nice crisp line. But you can leave it just zigzag just like this, so it has a ragged edge all the way around. Some people do that as a throw, but for a blanket purposes, I like the finished edge, and I will show you how to do that. If you've liked this so far, please give me a thumbs up. If you have questions about it that I can go into more detail on the next video, I do suggest that you put those in, because after this project I'm moving on to something different, and that depends on the response I get whether I should do another project similar to it. I am going to have one video that shows different stitches and how they're done as well. Your single crochet, which is in this Afghan stitch, double crochet, half double crochet, and touch a little bit on decreasing and increasing for those in the advanced kind of stages, which is great when you're trying to make a crocheted handbag or something of that nature, because you start out small, you gradually get it bigger, and then you bring it back small for a drawstring bag. That's one of those small projects that can be done, and it's not too difficult as long as you understand the terminology. If you're a brand new, spanking new beginner and you've picked up a book on how to crochet and you still don't understand what it's saying, then please comment to me if you don't understand something in the instructions, and I'll do a little deciphering for you if it helps you out. I am Crafty Sue, and I love all kinds of crafts. This is my gift to Ollie. When we call him Ollie, it's Oliver. And I hope to get it to him before his birthday, and I hope he's with us for at least a little bit longer. But what nicer thing for him to have in his old age as a kitty cat that has been in our family since he was 8 weeks old. It's the least I can do for that sweet little cat. His own little personality. And everybody that meets him loves him, so can't be all that bad, right? So it's Crafty Sue. It's not art, but yes it is. It's not paint, but it definitely is creative. It definitely is a form of art. Give it a try if you're new to crocheting. I would love to hear what you guys are making. And I will see you on the next video showing you how to finish this 2-stitch Afghan off with a finished edge. God bless.